Yes, and welcome to At America. We are the U.S. Embassy's American Center. First and foremost, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ara, and I will be the e-guide for today's event. And for those of you new here, At America is the U.S. Embassy's American Center located in Jakarta, and our mission here is to provide a space for people to learn more about the U.S. through our events and also our programs. And our event for this evening is titled On Camera Acting Workshop. We are already joined by our speakers and also moderator for this evening's workshop. But before we start, we have a social media quiz for our online audiences. And the question is it true or false? On-camera acting and stage acting are two different things. If you think you know the answer to this question, you can submit it on our social media platforms, and the quickest who can guess correctly will receive a live shout out from us by the end of this event. And now I'll be passing the stage to our moderator for today's event. She is one of Education USA's advisors. Please welcome Caroline Darmanto.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining this event today. My name is Caroline. As mentioned by Ara before, I'm one of the EducationUSA advisors here at America. Any of you here has ever heard of EducationUSA before? Udah ya, 1, 2, 3, okay, 4, 5, okay, 600 people. Okay, cool. So, untuk teman-teman semua yang belum pernah mendengarkan tentang EducationUSA sebelumnya, and to those of you who are watching online, if you see the map behind me, you'll see we have several centers in Indonesia. Jadi di Indonesia sendiri kita ada di beberapa daerah, ada di Aceh, Medan, US Embassy Jakarta, Air America here, Jakarta, Malang, Surabaya, Samarinda, dan juga di Makassar. Any of you guys can take a guess in terms of what we do here? Oke, mungkin kakaknya yang di belakang yang kacamata perempuan ya. Student counseling. All right. Perfect. So we do student counseling, or we call it advising. That's basically consultation sessions with us, and we do it for free. So anyone who's watching, and if you are interested in studying in the US, feel free to contact any of the EducationUSA advisors in Indonesia by going to this link right here, calendly.com, atau bisa di-scan aja QR code-nya. So we can do the advisings with you from Monday to Sunday di At America. Jadi kita buka throughout the year 365 hari per year. Dan kalau misalkan mau tanya mulai dari Kak, ada scholarship apa aja sih? Funding options-nya apa? Gimana cara nulis esainya? Gimana cari tahu informasinya gitu? Apa aja sih requirements-nya untuk mendaftar ke US universities? Nah, jadi semuanya itu bisa kita bantuin dari awal banget nyari sekolah sampai di pada akhirnya nanti pre-departure orientation, where we give you the guidance, all the information sebelum kalian depart untuk lanjut belajar ke US. Gitu. Jadi udah tertarik belum untuk book the advising session? Terus mungkin lanjut belajar ke US? Ya, oke. Nah, teman-teman, jadi what's very unique about EducationUSA at America is that we do sessions like this, free workshops. Acting workshop, that's the first time that we're gonna do it here. Kita ada juga IELTS, TOEFL workshop, GRE, GMAT, what have you. Jadi stay tune aja ke social medianya at America dan EducationUSA. Oke, jadi teman-teman di sini udah excited mungkin untuk mulai workshopnya? Yeah? Okay, so before we start the workshop, please help me welcome our speaker who will be talking about art schools in the US and untuk sekolah art in the US in general. Please help me welcome our speaker, Junnan Liao for IMDA.
Thank you, Colin. Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? Great. My name is Junnan Liao. I'm a social director of International Outreach here at AMDA, American Musical and Dramatic Academy. So first of all, I'm very, very, very grateful and thank you, Caroline and EducationUSA Jakarta, for having AMDA today to have the opportunity to speak to all the students here and also someone who you are right now watching from the live streaming. Just a little thing about myself. As you can see from my name, I'm Chinese. I'm from mainland China originally. So probably 15 or 16 years ago, that's my first time actually engaged with EducationUSA in Beijing, China. Back then, I was working in a corporate life for a couple of years, thinking about what to do next. So US Embassy in Beijing hosts an event to introduce the education opportunity for Chinese students back then. That was the first time I kind of like my head is thinking maybe this is something that I can explore, I can try. So eventually I end up in 2012, August 27, vividly. I went to the embassy to had my F1 international students visa interview. You guess what? Last year, April 2024, after 12 years, I went back to the same embassy, the same compound. I represent AMDA, brought AMDA to the same building. 12 years ago, I had my interview, but my role has changed a lot. So I was very fortunate to represent my school, AMDA, internationally. I think it's because of the education that America in general provided to me. I went to the university in Manhattan, in New York City, to complete my master's degree. Then I was able to find a job and start a career. But today, I think we are all here to want to hear about not only about AMDA, but in general, we want to know what is the performing arts education looks like in the United States. That's why I want to set a lot of example today by using AMDA as an example to kind of like elaborate what the landscape of the performing arts university and education looks like in the United States. During the section, if you have any questions, you can hold it, and because we're gonna have a Q&A section, so we'll answer all of the questions to you guys. Okay, so started, I will just cover some very basic information about the fields of the performing arts and move to the institutional future of the different types of the educational institution in the United States for the particular fields. And also as the international students ourselves, what does it look like when you started to thinking about apply and also a mission overview from our university perspective. And most importantly, when we're talking about performing arts, audition plays a very important part. So we spend a lot of time to kind of like discuss the audition requirements. Of course, every single international student complete their education, they really want to maybe start working in the United States legally under different visa programs. So I will touch particularly for performing arts students, what are the options for them to be able to work and build a career after the graduation. Okay, so when we're talking about performing arts, and a lot of the students ask me, okay, yeah, I know it's arts in general. Yes, it is arts. But arts divides into different fields. But today we are talking about the performing arts. Long story in short, performing arts in my view is where you're gonna use your body as your instrument to tell the story. That's why, as you can see from this slide, we started with the theater, acting. It has the stage, film, and voice performance. And the second is the music theater. That's how AMDA has been famous in this industry, where basically students will act, sing, and dance, integrate them together every single day. So music theater is truly, I would like to say it's a product of America. So American musical, that's a very pioneer in this industry, and then we follow up with some West End in UK. So musical theater is truly American product. And the dance, of course, easy to understand. We have ballet, modern, jazz, hip hop, different style of the dance that's fall into the performing arts. Music composition, voice instrument, and music education. Even though these kind of the fields doesn't really use our body, but you have to use your hands or your listening, and you have to play the instrument. So we still can include them as a performing arts. Of course, we have a theatrical arts, design, and a film and a media and a filmmaking, direction, and a screenwriting. So as you can see, if you want to really thinking about applying any performing arts school, you can easily find especially the top three: theater, musical theater, dance, acting, musical theater, dance, and also singing part in a lot of the theater school. But there are a lot of the schools in the United States, they only offer the film and media arts. For example, USC, they have a very good film school. And Liao AMDA, we used to only have the performing arts major, but now we are also a film school as well. We not only offer acting, singing, and dance, we offer the filmmaking, screenwriting as well. So when you really look at the school in the United States, you have to find out, oh, there are 4,000 legitimate university in the United States ranked by the US News, right? We know that EducationUSA have probably talked that every single day about how bad the ranking is. And in terms of, for us as a performing arts students, which one is good for us? The question is because there are different types. we have a big U, like a very comprehensive big university in the States, like for example, University of Southern California, University of California, Los Angeles, University of Michigan, Northwestern University. Those we call it a big U. So where theater is just probably a department, or musical theater is just like a major. Compared to the big university, we also have another type of institution we call conservatories, conservatory-style institution. I'm not sure here in Indonesia whether you guys have that same type of establishment, because conservatory-style training was traced back in 100 years ago in Europe. Because back then, when the musician they really want to work, they don't need to get a degree in order to be performed or play their instrument. That's how conservatory come into this picture. So United States adapted this concept very quickly. We open a lot of the very, very famous conservatory stuff from the East Coast. That's the Boston Conservatory. Right now is Berkeley. And Juilliard, of course. AMDA is part of this conservatory, the whole world. Our campus was established back in 1964, particularly for the theater conservatory, to respond for the needs for the students and a performer who really want to perform in a venue like a Broadway, like a theater actors, dancer and singers. That's how AMDA being on board. But also we have a different, like NYU Tisch. It's still a big university, but the Tisch School of the Arts considered is a very conservatory style training because they are industrial focused training. They are not doing too many like liberal arts education. And also, when we're talking about the school navigation choices, location is the key. I still remember 15 years ago when I was in my apartment, just wow, there are like 4,000 university. My goal back then was to study PR and advertising. You know, I know the best advertising program in the United States is UIUC. It's in Illinois. And I was like, should I go to Illinois or maybe a different school but in New York City? Then I found out, well, what should I do after the graduation? I need to find a job, right? Where is the center of the advertising industry? Of course, New York City on Madison Avenue. So I told myself, instead of like moving from Illinois to New York after 2 years, why not just spend my whole master degree in New York City in the industry, and maybe I make some connection. So I think a location is the key when you apply for a certain type of program in school, especially for the performing arts. New York City and Los Angeles considered as the center of the entertainment industry in the world. I think there's no places than Broadway for the theater and Hollywood for the film and television industry if you really want to walk into this field. Okay, so for the admission, I will be very quick to touch a little bit about this requirement. So basically, every single requirement for the regular program, for example, computer science, communication, we also require that, like a TOEFL, English language proficiency test, a Duolingo, IELTS, academic records like a transcript require a GPA, and also some schools require SAT and ACT. But in this case, for performing arts, I think most of the schools right now are SAT optional. So you do not have to do the SAT, but in case you already have done the SAT, but if you want to submit it, that will increase the opportunity for you to prove your academic excellency to get your more scholarship. At least in AMDA's case, we would like to see your SAT score and also ACT as well. And most importantly is your audition. I put the last second one. And that audition plays probably for AMDA, in our case, 99% whether you can be accepted artistically and how much scholarship we can give it to you purely based on your performance you're gonna go. In this case, we are going to host audition in Jakarta tomorrow, 5 p.m. in West in Jakarta. If you hear me talking about this, check our website. Maybe that's your call to audition for us tomorrow. I know a lot of the school host audition, internationally or domestically, but audition is the most important part. We also, if you go for some filmmaking program, we will ask students to submit a portfolio and also some like, in the whole package, like your personal statement, the writing sample. That varies really depends on the university, how they want to review the application based on the different requirements. But I want to put out there, audition, audition, audition. It should be always in your head when you start to navigate all the resources about the school. Okay. So when we talk about audition, people just tend to be, oh, am I going to be standing in center of the room and to be judged by jury or whatever you call them, right? They are very scary and people don't say a word and you come in, sing a song and bye. Well, yeah, unfortunately, some school really does that kind of job. But here I would like to say AMDA's audition or maybe some other universities' audition is really, really not unlike that. We really want to care about our students by allowing them to show their talents. Regardless which program you are going to choose, as I can list it here, different program requires the different requirement of material-wise for your start audition. Acting, music theater, dance, music, and film and media. Here, I want to, long story in short, people intend to ask me, how can I choose the best material for my audition? Only one word, or one sentence, sorry. The material can speak for yourself. And you have to understand the material, the character in that material, that's your audition piece. And also, if I really want to put some like a really requirement or a recommendation is find some pieces that is in your age range. And we also, in the United States, a lot of the school right now do accept the virtual audition, at least for the first round. And a lot of the students do the first round, and then there will be callback. And when you come to the United States and do the callback in-person audition, like at least Juilliard does this 3 different rounds. Like University of Michigan and College Mellon and those schools, they do virtual audition and allow international applicants to submit. And even for the callback, they will do the virtual audition. And but here, in our case at AMDA, we accept in-person audition, like tomorrow, Jakarta, one more time to mention that. We also have a virtual audition, allow students to audition internationally regardless where are you. And we also accept a self-taped audition for you to send your video to us. In our case, I cannot testify on behalf of other institutions. In our case at AMDA, regardless which type of the audition you choose to do, it will not impact the result of your application result, also the scholarship award. So just to choose the one that most convenient for you. Well, of course, we prefer in-person audition since we are here, right? So we host audition in Southeast Asia every year. So career and global opportunity. For the first 4 points, it's very easy to understand. You come in as a performer training, you want to become performer, go for it. And I want to mention is a cross-sector career. Right now, it's ever-changing industry. If you come in as a performer, for example, actor, at least at AMDA, will allow you to explore as a content creator because we have that the courses for you to study, and also will teach you how to, even as an actor, you have got a chance to learn how to sing a song, how to move as a dancer. It's really across the different fields of the training. And after the graduation, normally students will get a 1 year's optional practical training to work legally in the United States in the fields of your study. That's OPT. And a lot of the students tend to apply for their O1, that's artist visa, which is a work permit for you to work legally in the United States for the period of the 6 years, and then towards maybe your permanent residency application. I know there is a clock clicking, right? I know that, but I have tons of information I haven't really shared with you guys. But I really, really being grateful today I have the opportunity to talk to you all. If you have any question, you can always email me and go to wonderful counselor here, advisor. And AMDA is a school truly care about international students. Me as an international student, I think there's no places than the university really is an international family. Oh, by the way, we have over 120 international students from over 80 different countries in the region. Indonesia is the one. Okay, thank you guys. Let's have, okay, you introduce Blake, right?
Yeah. All right, thank you so much, Junnan. All right, everyone, are you guys ready for the workshop? You guys don't sound that excited. Okay, lebih keras ya. Are you guys ready for the workshop? Yeah? Okay, please help me welcome our speaker for today, Blake Babbitt from AMDA.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. How are you this evening? That's it? You're not excited? All right, I like that. Okay. I'm really excited to be here with you all. This is my second time coming to Indonesia. I really love this area of the world. It's very special to me. And I'm really excited to be here with you all tonight. I just want to say thank you, first of all, for hosting us, everyone here at Education USA and the American Center. This is an amazing place to have a workshop this evening. I'll start with kind of a brief introduction of myself, so you know who's teaching you this evening. And this is, by the way, going to be kind of a really interactive workshop, right? I want to get people up working. We're going to get some people up on the stage doing some acting for camera. Does that make anybody nervous? Yes, okay. So we'll work on the nerve part of it. But just to briefly introduce myself so you know who's speaking to you this evening. Again, my name is Blake Babbitt. I am the Senior Director of Global Outreach for AMDA College of the Performing Arts, working alongside with Junnan. I clearly need to update my headshot. It's a little outdated at this point. And I've been doing this kind of work for many, many years. I've worked in higher education for the past 15 years, kind of traveling the world, really scouting talent, looking for talent, recruiting individuals from all over the world to come study in the United States. But my background is as an actor. So I started out at a young age, kind of pursuing acting, and I did so by going to an arts-based high school. That's kind of where I started. And I studied acting in high school. And then from there, I went to university, and I studied acting at a university level, and I got my degree in acting. And that's where I started to really kind of develop my technique as an actor. And then from there, I moved to New York City to pursue living kind of as an actor. And that was about 20 years ago. Okay, don't start doing the math on my age, please. And I started working as an artist in New York City. And what that meant for me was doing a lot of different things. Acting, waiting a lot of tables. You know, that's what artists have to do sometimes. But acting and doing some off-Broadway work, doing some theater work, and then eventually moved into doing a little bit more film work, commercials, TVs, really kind of on the acting side of thing. And one day, it kind of struck me, and I loved the cameras. And I realized, whoa, what's holding me back from starting to kind of create some of my own content? Write some of my own things, direct some of my own things. And so I kind of went the path of becoming a filmmaker. And that was kind of through acting. So started making my own films, started with short films, and built up there to feature-length films, feature-length documentary films. And so I've kind of done it all. I bring this up only for the purpose of allowing you to ask any questions during the Q&A section as they pertain to being a working artist in the industry, whether that's acting, whether that's filmmaking, being a creative producer, editing. I'm kind of an open book, and I really look forward to all your questions, okay? So with that, we're gonna kind of get into the workshop. Is everyone excited to learn a little bit about acting? Awesome, okay, cool. So just a raise of hands, who here kind of considers themselves an actor already? Few, okay. Who is a little bit interested in this and just kind of figuring it out for the first time? A few of you? Okay, cool. I believe there's a reason why you're here tonight. You have a lot of choices of what to do with your time. But obviously, you're interested in acting if you're here for an acting on camera workshop, right? So let's kind of get into it. Instead of kind of doing a big lecture about the idea of great acting, I'm going to distill it down for you really quick, and then we're going to get to the actual work of acting, okay? For me, I think getting to the place of being a great actor requires a lot of discipline. It requires a lot of technique, development of skills, and anyone that tells you that acting is easy is a liar. And we're going to show you that here this evening with workshopping a few people, because acting is very technical and it's a little bit challenging, but it requires from you to become the fullest, highest version of yourself in an understanding of who you are as an individual, because I think the best acting comes from someone who is able to live really truthfully and authentically within the given circumstances, okay? Now, this is kind of a high-level term, but given circumstances are essentially what are given to you via the script, through the script, right, by the screenwriter or the playwright, and it's the circumstances, right? Who, what, when, where, why, right? To me, the best acting is someone who's living authentically kind of as themselves within those given circumstances. And you can think about it from a psychological standpoint for sure, but I think the most important thing when it comes to acting is understanding your instrument first and foremost. Now, when I say, what is your instrument as an actor, just feel free, raise your hand or shout it out. What is your instrument as an actor? Your body, this vessel that we're in, right? This is our instrument, right? So we have to tune it before we play it, right? Does anybody here play an instrument, by the way? Yeah? Anybody here play a saxophone? No saxophone players? I only use this as an example because a saxophone, before you play the music with a saxophone, you have to take it out of the case, you have to build it, you have to put it together, right? And then you have to take this little special piece called the reed and put it in your mouth and start to soak it a little bit, right? So that it can actually play without cracking. It's the same kind of analogy for an actor. You have to actually tune up your body, tune up your instrument before you go to the script, before you start to try to say the lines or deal with the given circumstances. So there's the mental component and then there's the physical component when it comes to creating great acting. But I'll distill it down for you really quickly, and then we're going to get up on our feet all together. For me, when I'm an audience member and I'm watching acting, I'm watching a performance, there's only two types of acting. Bad acting and great acting, right? And to me, the difference between those is that if I see the acting, if I see the performing, it's bad. As an audience member, I don't want to see the performing. I just want to see the story unfold in front of me, right? So actors, we have to get out of the way of ourselves, get into our bodies, and really connect to the given circumstances to generate great performance. So we're going to work on that a little bit tonight. We only have an hour, so we'll see how far we can go. It took me many years to figure this technique out. But we're going to start with our bodies. So what I'm going to ask everyone to do, this is going to start to be a little bit more hands-on, okay? I want everyone to stand up on your feet. Stand up, stand up. Great. Can I get a couple of volunteers to come join me? Yeah? Well, come on up, you three. Fantastic. Yeah, you want to come? Great. Okay, come on up. Okay, so just stand on the right here with me. You want to join right here? Okay, you're going to stand right here. Perfect. Okay. So everyone's going to do this, by the way. This is just my brave volunteer group right here. Okay? So for this first exercise, what we're going to do right now, by the way, is 3 exercises. Okay? These 3 exercises are designed at calming you down, mitigating nerves, inducing a sense of relaxation, concentration, and presence. Okay? We're going to do these pretty quickly. But has anybody here been nervous before, by the way? Raise your hand if you've ever been nervous. I'm looking for the person not raising their hand, because that means you're a robot. Every human being gets nervous, but particularly actors, you know, you're doing something that is very, there's a lens on you, right? It's a little bit intense. Do you know the number one fear of human beings is not death, public speaking. And actors have to do a lot of that, don't they, right? So we got to kind of mitigate the nerves. What happens to our bodies when we're nervous? What happens? Fail to perform? Yeah. But what about physically? What starts to happen to our bodies? What? You get a little sweaty. What else? Yeah, you lose your breath a little bit. Your heart starts beating faster. All these weird physiological things start to happen to us, right? So the best thing we can do, yeah, and come on down. Come closer. Come closer. Yeah. Come down. Perfect. Yeah, great. And don't fall off those stairs. You come down further. Yeah, don't be so shy. I saw you come in and you went all the way up. We're going to put you, yeah, there you go. Get on the ground. Perfect. Yes, okay, so be careful while you're doing this. Make sure you have good solid grounding. Okay. All of that stuff is happening to us physiologically, right? So we have to actually start to take control of our bodies and not let our bodies take control of us, right? So spread out a little bit more, okay? You're good there. Make sure you have a little room on your sides. You're going to join me for this, okay? I want to hear your voices. By the way, I've been all over Southeast Asia, and I'm continuing on, and I have to do a ton of workshops, so don't make me use all of my voice for this. I want to hear your voice, okay? What we're going to do, we're going to put our right hand up in the air. Everybody, right hand up in the air. Great. And we're going to start to shake it out. We're going to go like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then we're going to go to the left hand. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right foot, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Left foot, 10, 9, all the way down. And then we go back to 9, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 9, 8, 7. And then 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, all the way to 1, okay? Just follow my lead. But check in with yourself. See how you feel right now. And then I'm going to check in with you afterwards, okay? You ready? Let's do it. Right hand up in the air. And here we go. Use your voices, please. Ready? And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Much louder, please. I can't hear any of you. All I hear is myself on this microphone, okay? And starting again. Right hand in the air. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Faster! 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 1, 1, 1. Whoo! Okay, good job. How do you all feel? Are things starting to change with you a little bit? Oh, you're heating up a little bit. You're breathing a little heavier. A little bit tired. Yeah, right? All these things are starting to happen to us, but our body is starting to change, and we're starting to expand our energy, right? That's the first step. Now, everyone, I want you to go take a seat again. Take a just seat right where you are. Everyone, volunteers up here. Take a seat. Great. So, that's exercise number 1, okay? Now, I know you came for an acting on camera class, but here's the deal. You cannot start performing unless you're fully physically warmed up and mentally warmed up, okay? And prepared for the opportunity to be on a stage or be on camera. Now, the second exercise. By the way, you can use these exercises for anything in life. If you're ever feeling nervous or anxious, you have to do something that's giving you a little bit of anxiety or nervousness, follow these rules. First, warm up your body. Second, mitigate your nerves through an exercise we're about to do. Now, when you're nervous, what is a tool built into our own bodies we can use to calm ourselves down? Breath, yes. Breath is this amazing tool, right? It's something that we often overlook. But it's a tool we can use to calm ourselves down and really mitigate nerves or anxiety. So what we're going to do is a breath exercise together, okay? It's called box breathing, essentially. This is my version of it. I want everyone to sit up tall. Don't stand up, but sit up tall, at attention. Great. And what I want you to do is I'm going to guide you through this. You're going to breathe in through your nose for 5 seconds. Then you're going to hold your breath for 5 seconds. And then you're going to release on a hiss, like for 5 seconds. Okay? Is everybody ready? And release your breath. In through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. Now 10 seconds. So 5's pretty easy, right? But now 10, you really have to be aware of how much breath you're taking in and how much breath you're releasing. You don't want to take it all in at once or release it all at once. So kind of visualize a balloon expanding and then contracting. You all ready? Great. And release your breath. In through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great work. you should start to feel a little different already than when you walked in this room earlier. You walked in, you're like, you had a whole day behind you. You might have things you have to do later tonight. You might be a little bit like, okay, I'm in this room, what's happening? But now you're starting to feel a little bit more centered and grounded, right? In your body, you're owning your space that you're in, okay? This is where great acting comes from. Now we're going to do one more exercise before we start getting people up on camera, okay? This, to me, is a very important exercise. I think the best acting comes from an individual who is both focused and concentrated, okay? But I think those are separate things. To me, I think focus is really, really simple. I think it's pinpointed. Like I can focus my attention on you. I can focus the lens of a camera really quickly. You can see if it's in focus or out of focus, right? Whereas concentration to me is an overall awareness of all these other things going on around me, right? It's being able to be focused right here. Maybe I'm doing a scene with you, right? And my focal point are your eyes, but my concentration is an awareness of all this other stuff going on, right? Like you just shifted over there, right? There's a gentleman over here. I think he's in green, maybe. Somebody's up there, right? You're moving your hand over there. There's light spilling into my eyes if I put my head up like this. Somebody's running up the stairs. So concentration, to me, is presence, living in the here and now. And I think the best acting comes from someone who is living in the present moment. The unfortunate thing that we have right now is that we live in a world that is highly distracted, right? Just going to check my Instagram really quick. Just kidding. But seriously, this thing gets in the way a lot of times, right? And so as artists and actors, we have to concentrate ourselves. So what we're going to do now, when I say go, I want you to be careful how you do this, okay? Don't hurt anybody. But I want you're going to have 10 seconds to grab an object that you brought here with you. It could be your cell phone, it could be a water bottle, it could be whatever. Just one object, and one object only that belongs to you, okay? Is everybody ready? Okay. And go. If you have to grab it, great. Sometimes I use my water bottle for this. Okay. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Water for me. Okay. So everybody has an object. Perfect. Great. Now, here's what we're going to do for this exercise. You can do this for anything in life, by the way. If you have a test coming up for school or something like that, or an interview or an audition, this is a great exercise you can do quietly to yourself, okay? What I want you to do is take a deep breath in through your nose, release, then close your eyes. Now I want you to keep your eyes closed through this entire exercise, okay? What I want you to do is just imagine you're in your own space, right? You're not in this amazing facility right now, but maybe you're at home in your safe place and you're just existing. What I want you to do is be aware of a few things during this exercise. First, I want you to be aware of your breath. Just put awareness on it, the inward of the breath and the outward of the breath. And second, I want you to be aware of all the sounds going on around you. So if I'm quiet and I stop speaking, are there sounds going around you? I can hear a lot of different sounds happening in this room. So just be aware of that. And now, with your object, what I want you to do is hold it with both hands in front of you. And I want you to just start to explore this object. Just start to touch it and feel it. So how does it feel in your hands? And the best way to start is let's put some adjectives to it. So maybe let's start with the texture. What's the texture like? Is it soft or smooth? Is it hard? Are there ridges? Is it rough? Is it plush? Now, with keeping your eyes closed, I want you to think if you can remember the colors that make up this object. Is it monochromatic, just one color? Is it a multitude of different colors? What are the colors? Name them in your head if you can. Imagine them in your mind's eye. And now, I want you to think about this object in a little bit of a different way. I want you to start thinking about this object in terms of its meaning or value to you. Does it hold any meaning or value? In other words, if you lost this object, you walked out of this room this evening and it was gone, would you be upset? Is it meaningful to you, or is it something transient? It's kind of passing through your life and it would be okay if it was gone. Or maybe it's somewhere kind of in between, right? And now, I want you to think about how this object was actually made. So if you're thinking about that, think about what it's made out of. Is it plastic? Is it metal? Is it wood? Is it fabric? If so, what type of fabric? And I want you to go on kind of a little bit of a imagination journey with it. Think about how it was created. So was it manufactured somewhere? Did somebody hand make this? And then think about the journey it went on to come exist in your hands right here, right now. Just take it on that journey. Was it shipped to you? Did you pick it up at a store? Was it handed to you? And now everyone, for the next 15 seconds, all I want you to do is see if you can touch every single part of this object. Really feel it in your hands while being fully aware of your breath, the inward of the breath, the outward of the breath, and aware of all the sounds around you. And I'll be quiet for the next 15 seconds. And everyone take a deep breath in through your nose. Release on a hiss. And open your eyes. Okay. Hello. Welcome back. So, you came again to an acting workshop. What does this have to do with great acting? Who can tell me? Any thoughts? Yeah, what do you think? Awareness? Yeah. Awareness of your environment and what's around you? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Does anyone feel a little bit different than they did before they walked in here this evening? A little bit changed, a little bit more kind of present? Yeah, how do you feel? You're open. Yeah, a little bit of vulnerability. Yes, you're open. You're kind of present. Ultimately, what these 3 exercises should do are get you into a place where you're physically and mentally prepared for the opportunity to act, which puts a lot of stress on people, right? Makes people very nervous sometimes. So this should be reducing nerves, and it should be creating true presence in you. Because if you did this exercise right, you weren't thinking about what you had to do today. You weren't thinking about what you have to do later tonight, any drama going on in your life. You were just existing right here and right now in the present moment. This is where the best acting comes from, okay? It's not about acting. It's about being here. Mindfulness. Yes, I love it. You get it. So with that, let's get into some acting, okay? First of all, I brought a couple of tools here with me. Just grab them really quick. So, brought this with me. Does this excite everybody? Everybody sees this and they're like, yes. Everybody sees this and they say, action. Although this doesn't mean action when you go like this, believe it or not. But this is a really, really important tool in terms of making films, okay? In terms of how actors interact with it, you're not going to interact that much with it, but I think it's a really important thing. When you hear this sound, it means you should kind of be prepared and ready to go, right? When does an actor start acting on a film set or TV? When do they start acting? Potentially, right? But let's say we're doing a shot and we roll camera, sound is speeding, we've slated. When does an actor start acting? When the director calls action. When does an actor stop acting? Cut, exactly, right? So, this, when you hear this as an actor, that doesn't mean start acting, right? A lot of actors that haven't been on film set before start acting as soon as they hear this, right? Because we see all the, the GIFs and stuff that say action, right? Okay, so this is important in terms of understanding how we organize film, okay? Before we get people up here, I'm just going to go over this really quickly, okay? So on the day, this helps organize the day. A film is very different than a play, right? A play is one happening. You might have rehearsed for a couple of months, but once it goes up and you open that curtain, there's nothing stopping it. The train has left the tracks, right? And it goes for 2 hours, the actors bow, and then it's over, right? That is not how film is created. A film, a 2-hour feature-length film that might be scripted, it's going to take about 45 to 60 days on average to actually shoot that film, right? It's not self-organizing like a play is, right? So we have to organize it on the day as it pertains to the script. We have our roll number, right? That's our digital file number. We have our scene number, right? So a film is the large unit, then we have a scene, a multitude of scenes within a film, that's a smaller unit, and then within a scene, there's a multitude of shots where we move the camera, right? So scene 1, and then A would essentially be the shot number, or the shot letter, right? And then we have take. Anybody have an idea what the difference between a shot and a take is? Any thoughts? What do you think? The number of shots you take?
Yeah, so basically in one shot, let's say you have to redo it, that's the take.
Yes, great. I would call it the attempts, right? So you might have a great first take, but you might want a safety, or something might happen. The actor messes up their lines, they don't hit their mark, there's something wrong with the lights, there's something wrong with the camera, we got to do another take, right? So good actors, we want to do it in as little takes as possible. The producers and directors will love you, okay? You have your production name right here. Very important. You have your director's name, your cinematographer's name. The director's in charge of the entire creative vision of the project. The cinematographer is in charge of the camera, the lighting, and the visual aesthetic of the project. And they work really, really closely together, okay? You have your camera, you have your FPS, or frames per second, right? You might have heard of that before. Think of a frame as one photograph per second. Generally, if we're shooting with sound sync, we can see and hear an actor speak, right? We're shooting at around 24 frames per second, or technically 23.98 frames per second, in order to create sound sync. So imagine 24 photos speeding through a camera to create real-life motion that syncs with sound. You can change your frame rate for different aesthetics. If you want to do slow motion, you'll bump the frame rate up pretty high. But that's cinematography, and we're not doing that tonight, okay? That will be a whole nother course. You have your date, which today lines up. Americans, yay, 9/9. But we do things backwards in America. INT, interior, exterior, day and night, and then the last two, sync or MOS. Sound sync, which means we're syncing sound with audio, okay? And that is why we do this. This is a visual representation of sound, okay? This helps us sync it together in post-production. Does that make sense for everyone? Now, we could do a whole course on this, but I want to get to some acting. MOS without sound. Mise en scène, without sound. There's a lot of reasons for why it's called MOS, but that means there's no sound on the shot, okay? Now, let's get some volunteers going. First of all, my tech crew, can we just get this camera feed live really quick? See, I've been on camera the whole time, and now we're going to put some other people on camera. Okay, so first of all, while we get that, yep, that'll be up and ready to go here momentarily. I need a volunteer, though. Anybody want to be my first volunteer of the evening? You ready? Let's go. Come on up here. Come up these stairs. Yeah, there we go. Come on up. We'll just get this kind of dialed in. Yeah, stand right here. Perfect. There we go. Come a little closer to me. Closer, 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 closer. Ooh, that's intense, right? How's that feel? Stand still. Great. Okay, we got you on camera here. Let me just dial this in a little bit more. What's your name? Fellow? Am I saying that right? Yeah. What a fellow he is. Okay, fellow. Great. You look fantastic. How do you feel? A little nervous? Yeah. That's very normal to feel nervous. Why don't you step a little bit closer? Great. Yeah, that's good. Okay, cool. So you feel a little bit nervous? Take just a little bit step back. Sorry. There we go. We'll give you a little bit more cinematic feel here. Bump the light down just a little bit. Okay, cool. So, typically we don't want the actor to be able to see themselves on screen, but for the setup tonight, we're just going to deal with what it is. Okay, fellow. First of all, I want us to start observing a couple of important things. So, fellow, I want you to look directly into the lens. Yes, okay. Now, when fellow's looking directly into the lens right here, what does that look like for all of you? Looks like he's looking right at you, right? Okay, so that's an important kind of lesson number one, is what the lens does and how the lens, reads you as an actor, right? It's very different than the stage. Now, if you're looking directly into the lens, there's an equivalent of that in theater, which is when you speak directly to the audience. Does anybody know the terminology for that? I hear it, yeah. Who said breaking the fourth wall? Yes, good job. Kudos to you. Yes, it's the equivalent of breaking the fourth wall. In other words, we're breaking this imaginary fourth wall that we've created to speak directly to the audience. Now, there's plays that do that, right? And there are film and TV shows that do that as well occasionally, right? Can anybody think of a film or a TV show where they speak direct? Fleabag, Deadpool, The Office. They do that a lot in The Office, right? So there are moments where that is allowed, okay? For the most part, though, I would say like 95% of the time, the script does not dictate that you look into the camera, right? Because we don't want to break that imaginary fourth wall, right? So I just want to start with something really, really basic here. And fellow, I want you to look into the lens, okay? And then I want you to put your focal point right here. So look over here. Yeah, let's draw it out a little bit more and extrapolate that out, get a point on the wall. Great, and back to the lens. Now I'm just going to oscillate you back and forth here, okay? So look into the lens and back at your focal point, into the lens, and back into the focal point. Do you all see the difference there? Now, if you just looked at him up in person, if he was on a stage, it doesn't look like he's doing much, right? It's a world of difference on camera, right? This camera does really magical things to actors. So the camera is this evolution or advancement of storytelling and acting. We started out in theaters because that was the technology we had, right? As technology developed, we developed technology that allowed us to tell stories in different ways. And so actors had to evolve with that as well, right? In theater, an actor has to be a little bigger because there's people in the back of the audience that need to see and hear you, right? But as technology evolved, actors could scale things down just a little bit. They don't have to yell. They don't have to project quite as much because there's a microphone picking everything up, right? And they also don't have to be as big physically, right? Because the camera's picking all of that up for them. Does that make sense for everyone? Great. So it's a little bit smaller, but there's still commitment involved with that, okay? Now, let's do a little exercise. I brought my tape here with me. Sorry, I'm lost. Okay, let's do a little exercise now. Before I get to the tape, I just want to show you something that's really cool in terms of if anyone wants to be a filmmaker, and this is also really important for actors to understand, is your focal point and how it works with empathy, okay? So, the closer an actor's eye line is to the lens of the camera, the more empathy the audience actually has for that character. Let me show you, okay? So fellow, I want you to look right here. Try to be as still as possible, okay? Except for your head and your eyes, right? So here's your focal point, start here. And what I want you as the audience to do, while you're watching fellow up here on the screen, I want you to measure your amount of empathy kind of subconsciously, but put your conscious on it, for this character, not fellow, if you know, fellow's a nice fellow. Fellow's a nice gentleman. But I want you to measure your amount of empathy as we change the focal point. You ready? So, follow my fingers. Let's come over here. Yeah, right there. So if you look at fellow now, whether you know it or not, your empathy for this character has changed. Why? Because his eyes aren't as close to the lens, right? When we communicate with individuals and if we're really being vulnerable, we look at people in the eyes, right? I don't teach like this. I try not to, at least, right? So if your focal point's here, we've lost a little bit of empathy, but bring it over here even more, even further, even further. Keep right there. We've almost lost all empathy, right? Because we can't connect with this individual. So if you're a director, you really have to start thinking about it in terms of eye line, where you're putting your character's eye line. If this is a protagonist, I'm probably not going to want to put his eye line so far off camera. If it's an antagonist, maybe I do want to put the eye line a little further off of camera, right? This is the way directors are kind of subconsciously telling you the story or telling you as the audience how to feel, okay? The magic with acting on camera, you can bring your focal point back right here. Yeah, let's put it right here. The magic with acting on camera and the evolution of this technology is that the actor on camera is actually the blank canvas that the audience gets to paint all of their emotions onto. Think about that for a second. The less the actor does, the more you as the audience actually get to paint all of your feelings and emotions onto the scene. And I'm going to show you this once we give some given circumstances and context to the scene we're going to do with Fellow here, right? But we'll get to that in just a second. I also brought this gaff tape with me, right? You see this on set all the time. We use it to fix things. We use it for a lot of purposes. But what do we use this tape for as it pertains to an actor when we're on a film set? Any thoughts? A mark. Who can tell me what a mark actually looks like? An X? A T. It's a T. Why is it a T? Any thoughts? It tells you, yes, where you're facing. It also tells you exactly where to put your feet. You're going to put your feet on either side of this line, right? So when you're an actor on a film set and you see somebody with a belt full of different colors of gaff tape and they're running towards you and they're about to go like this, what should you do? Stay still, please, right? Because you're going to lay the mark down. So, fellow, you got that? You're going to stay still. We're going to mark you, okay? We'll lay a mark down on the ground. It's a T like this. I failed at my gaff tape, but it's okay. So we'll show you exactly what it looks like. Now, you can move your feet a little closer together. No, not above the line. Yep, right there. That's your mark, right? Can everybody see that? Great. Come back up here, reset just a little bit. I have to be the cinematographer and the director today. So hard. Okay, fellas, so you're on your mark. Now, before we build a scene out really quick, what I want to do is see if fellow can hit his mark. You think he can? Let's see it. Okay. So, fellow, what I want you to do is step back. I'm going to make this hard for you. I want you to come up on the stage. Yeah, right there. Okay. And when I call action, all I want you to do is walk in and walk directly to this mark and look at your focal point right here. Okay? You ready? Let's give it a shot. Let's see if you can do it. And action. Ooh, pretty close, pretty close. I would say you're a little shy of it, but pretty good, right? Did anybody notice anything? Come closer a little bit. Yeah, you're going to want to land right there. That was pretty good. Good. I noticed him look down a little bit to kind of check where the mark was, right? So you never want to look down when you're looking at your mark. But really good overall. Do you have any acting training? Yes, clearly. Very good. Okay. Now, who wants to be my assistant director tonight? Anyone? Anyone? Yeah, come on up here. I seem to have lost my pin, but that's okay. We're just going to pretend for tonight. Okay, so you're going to be in charge of this. Okay, what do you do with this? Let me show you really quick. So step off your mark. So if we're marking a scene, we're going to come in here like this. We're going to hold it up in front of the camera, and you're going to call it out. Okay, you're going to say, this is scene 1A, take one, mark. Pull it out. And then you're going to be right on my hip, right? Okay, cool. You ready? Let's mark it. Now, before we mark it, you just stay. That's one thing. We're going to build a scene for fellow. Now, fellow, step on your mark really quick. Step back just a little bit. Great. So fellow's on his mark. And we have to build the given circumstances now. So this is going to be a little bit of improv. There's no script. We're going to develop a script together, okay? Remember when I said the actor is the blank canvas that the audience gets to paint all their emotions on? I'm going to give you something contextual right now that in your mind will probably shift your perception of this scene. Now my AD, step back a little bit so everybody can see. Yep, you're right here. Cool. He's been good. He's like right on my hip. I like it. Okay. So look at your focal point. Great. Put it like right here. Great. And here's the context. I'm going to give the place. See if this shifts your perception. I want you to imagine that you're looking into a bathroom mirror. Did that shift you? You're starting to think, oh, okay, Now I get the context. He's looking at himself in the mirror. He's not just standing up in front of a camera in class, right? So imagine you're looking at the mirror. Give yourself a little bit of action, but let's give him context to help him get action, right? Or give him some actions. Where is this bathroom mirror? You tell me. Where? At school? What are you saying? Second floor? What is second floor? At his house. Okay, this is a bathroom in his house. Okay, great. Well, we said his house. So he can't be in both places, or maybe it's a magic show. Okay, so he's at his house. He's in his bathroom at his house. What day of the week is it? It's a Wednesday? Okay. So it's Wednesday. He's at his bathroom in his house. What time? 9 what? 9 p.m. So he's had his whole day. What's he doing? Getting ready for bed, right? Maybe washing up for the day. What happened to him today? He got fired? Nice, good. Okay, see, this is the reason we watch stories, right? Because we like the idea of conflict, right? Okay, so he got fired, but let's make the stakes higher. What does this mean for him? Does he have a family? He's got a family, so he's got kids to feed. Okay, does he have a wife? He's got a wife. Does his what? I'm going to actually say no. She's still here because I'm going to help build a scene because we're going to get an actress up here. Okay, so this helps me. So the wife, though, does not know yet that he lost his job, and he has to tell her, right? Because tomorrow morning, he's expected to wake up in the morning and go to work, right? Okay, so let's just see if he can act this out. These are heavy given circumstances, okay? How you feeling about it? You good? Yeah, it's intense. So this is where the acting part comes in, right? So fellow needs to start to personalize this, right? Now, I don't know if fellow has been married or is married or has a family or kids, but this is what you have to do as an actor is put yourself within the given circumstances, right? So if fellow has never experienced this before, it's okay. He needs to find a replacement where you've been in a situation that's been highly stressful, where you have to disclose information that is not easy to disclose. Have you ever been in a situation like that in your life? Probably. Okay, well, you really need to go there with it, okay? So I want you to step back just a little bit. Stay right there. Great. And we're going to have him just start from this position and hit his mark and start the scene. But we're going to mark it first, okay? So you're going to come in, and here's roll call on a film set. Actors need to understand this. Filmmakers obviously do too as well. What we need to understand is how things operate. So we have to get everything synced up. So the camera, we're going to have somebody operating the camera. We're going to say, camera, going to make sure it's recording, right? Camera speeds, right? And then we're going to make sure sound is operating because they're operating separately, right? Sound, the camera's rolling, sound speeds, everything's good. We're good to go. We're going to come in and mark it now. Come in. We'll mark it. Yep, put it up in front of the camera. He's going to be fired as an AD. He's not moving fast enough. Just kidding. He's great. Okay, and we'll mark it. So call it out for me. You're going to say it loud. You're going to say scene 1A, take 1, mark. You say scene 1A, take 1, mark, clap. Ready? It's right here for you. Okay. Scene 1A, take 1, mark. All right. Yeah, you got it, buddy. Okay, hold it up a little higher. Yeah, there you go. And mark it. Call it out. There you go. Nice. Okay, pull it out. He did it. He did it. Watch your thumb. Come on out. Come on out. Now, cleared set. Good job on my actor. Why? He didn't start acting yet, right? A lot of actors think that means action. It doesn't. Ready? Everything's set. A lot of times the director will be like, okay. The AD will probably be like, everyone quiet. Here we go. Settle. And action. Now, cut. Great intentions, but can you see his feet? Just stand right there where you were. Way off his mark, right? Oops, there we go. Right. So we got to go back to 1, okay? What does it mean when a director calls back to 1, by the way? Start over. Go to your what? Where? Your first position. Sorry to make everybody dizzy here. 1 second. Okay, here we go. Yes, let me frame you up again and go back to 1. So if a director calls and back to 1, you're going to go to your first position, okay? If a director says, okay, we're going to start on 2, where do you go? Second position. Maybe you're doing a scene where the camera's following you all over the place and you have 5 marks to hit, right? Then they might say, okay, we're good with the master on 1 through 3. Let's start on 4. Okay, we're going to start on 4 here, okay? So you got to be paying attention to that as an actor in addition to all the other stuff, the given circumstances, the meat, the acting, all of these things, right? So it's a little bit more technical. Ready? Let's mark it again. So if I don't have my pen with me, but if I had my pen, we would change the mark to 2, okay? Take 2. There's one on the back of here, but we don't have to do it. Okay, come on in. So you're going to say scene 1A, take 2, and mark. Come on in. Yep. Yeah, great. Do it again. Yes, not action. Don't say action. But you are awesome. Okay. And take a breath. Here we go. And action. Take your glasses off. I'm going to direct you. Take your glasses off. Put them on your shirt. Just look at yourself in the mirror. There you go. Take a breath. Now, you see that moment right there? Where he's just breathing and existing? You all understand the given circumstances. So you get to paint all of your feelings and emotions onto it. He doesn't have to come in as an actor and be like, oh my God. He doesn't have to show it as large as you would in theater. He just has to exist, right? So we're going to do it one more time. We're going to go back to 1. When you come in, all I want you to do, it's very simple. You're going to come in, look at yourself in the mirror, take your glasses off really slowly, drop them down, and it's a little bit of like, oh my God, what am I going to do, right? And just exist in it. And let's see if we pick up on that. Ready? Let's mark it one more time. Come on in. That would be take what?
Take 3.
Take 3. Okay, you can mark it. He's my man. All right, here we go. Mark it. And come on out. And action. Look at yourself. And cut. Nice. Give it up. Great job. Great job. Very simple. You're still off your mark a little bit. Okay, so that's 1 note. But that's a really nice moment. Now, I need an actress, volunteer. Okay, your hand went up first. Whoever's hand, actress, come up. Yep. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. We're going to add another actor in here really quick. We're getting limited on time, but we're going to be quick. Okay, now let's get you lined up. So I want you to stand right back here over his shoulder a little bit, a little forward. Yes. Okay, cool. This is going to require skills on my part, which we'll see if I can do it. We're going to rack focus on her. Okay, so I'm going to give you a mark. Come a little closer to him, a little closer. So the camera makes everything a little bit bigger, and it exacerbates space, right? We shoot everything based on the theory of proxemics. In theater and in real life, they might look kind of they might look a little close, actually, right? The camera makes everything bigger, so we got to make everything closer together, okay? So, what's your name? Patricia. So we have Patricia and Fellow here, okay? What role do you think Patricia is playing this evening? The wife, right, okay. So, let me just practice a little rack of the focus here for you. I'm going to go that way, right? Cool. So, let's do an improv, okay? We're going to shoot this as fast as we can. We have a few minutes left. We're going to go back to 1, okay? This means you're back and you're off, okay? But I don't want to see you. You're going to come in from the side over here, back to 1, back to where you're starting. Stop. Closer. Okay, you're good right there. Okay, what you're going to do is this. When he enters, you're going to give him 10 seconds to do what he just did, right? That moment where he comes in, he puts his glasses down, he looks at himself in the mirror, he has this heavy moment with himself. You're counting to 10. As soon as he hits his mark, you're going to walk in and you're going to look at him in the mirror. Both of your focal points is right here. Okay, you have to look at the same place. And you have to look at him in the eyes, even though you're not really. You got to imagine this, and you got to say, honey, what's wrong? And then let's open up to an improv. Let's see. I want you to react. Let's see where this goes. We'll play it out, okay? Did I get more time? It looks like I got extra time. Okay, you tell me when I need to stop teaching. Okay, so we're going to do it. We'll do it for real. We'll go all the way back to 1. Be take 4, but we were practicing, so let's go back to 1. This is scene 1A, take 1, and we'll start it right now. Okay, come on in, mark it. My actors, you feeling good about this? Okay. Before we mark it, really quick, the most important thing for actors is understanding their objective in a scene based on a relationship. In other words, what do they need or want from another person, and how do they get what they need or want from another person? In this scene, your objective is to understand why he's upset. Your objective is to avoid the truth, right? And to protect her. Ultimately, your objective is to protect her from the truth. But you're a digger. You keep digging. You need to know what's going on with him. He's not acting normal. This is not what he does before bed normally. Ready? And let's mark it. He's gotten so much better. He's a pro now. Okay, ready? And action. Pause. What I want you to do is use the space now. Once you're in it, pull him towards you and look at each other. There you go. Now, here's one thing to notice. This is a hard part, right? But do you notice how she's kind of pulling away from him? That's a natural instinct because they're probably strangers. They don't know each other, right? But what that's doing is pulling all the energy away from the scene, right? We want actors, we want the energy in the middle of the frame, okay? So when you turn him towards you, you need to lean in towards him, and you need to lean in towards her, okay? So go back from that other position and kind of keep investigating and then pull him towards you, and we're going to do the whole scene. Ready? Go for it. Don't pull away towards him. There you go. You see the difference?
Are you sure? Yes, dinner's ready. We can...
Great. Pull her out.
You're not okay. You're not. I've known you 10 years. You cannot lie to me.
And fellow, exit the scene. Say, I'm ready for dinner. And cut. Nice. Good. How much time do I have, would you say? Can we do one more thing? Oh.
Yeah. You have 30 minutes. 36
Oh, even more time? Okay, that might be too much time, but we'll see. Okay, so let's do this a little bit. Let's do it one more time. We want to shoot this match. So now you understand. By the way, a lot of times you have a script. It's going to tell you the lines and everything. I'm asking a lot of these actors to kind of improv this. But do you see why these actors feel safe right now? Do you feel safe to do this? Do you feel safe? Do you feel like you kind of got it? I think it's because there's guardrails in place for them, right? They understand the given circumstances. They understand the relationship. They understand the need and want of what they're doing. So improv becomes really normal and natural once you understand the guardrails of it, right? Once you understand the guardrails of the scene, the relationship, the objective, that's the protection. That's the parachute for you as an actor, right? So let's do it again, okay? We're going to go back to 1. We're going to mark it, and then what we're going to do is shoot one other shot, okay? 2 other shots, because remember at the beginning I said a scene is comprised of a multitude of shots. So this is only one shot. This is kind of our master shot, right? Okay, let's mark it. This would be take 2, right? So, mark it again. Great. Go for it. Nice. Okay. And action.
Hey, honey. My day was good, but what happened? What happened today? Are you sure? Yeah. You don't look good. Are you sure? Maybe you're just hungry. Do you want to get food? Okay. You're not fine. Something happened. I've known you 10 years. No, you're not okay. Definitely, yeah. What did he do to you? Are you sure it's just that?
Get yourself out of the scene. Pause before you do that. Go back. Before you pull yourself out of the scene, what I would do as a director, give you a powerful moment, and I want you to just look back into the mirror and look at yourself, right? No, you, right? Once you finish. So go back a little bit. Yep. Action.
Okay.
Nice little cap. Okay, good work. Okay, so that was the first shot, right? Now, where might I move the camera? Any ideas? Say it again. That would be the next scene, right? So the scene is moment to moment to moment, different scenes, different actions happening, but a multitude of shots cover one scene. So think of it in terms of where would I move this camera next to get coverage of the scene? You could do it with the bathroom door, but here's the trick. Here's a really important trick when it comes to making films. It's called the 180-degree rule. So how does that equate to like theater? Well, if this is a theater and I'm the actor right now and you're the audience, you've been observing this all from that point of view the whole time, right? None of you have gotten up and watched the play from back here, have you? So when you're shooting a scene, it's the same thing. You have to shoot everything from the one side, okay? So if we moved the camera back over here to shoot the scene, and then we use that to edit, it would look really weird. Come stand on your marks really quick. We call it the 180-degree rule, okay? So when you're shooting a scene, you shoot everything from one side, and there's an imaginary line cutting through the top of their heads here that you don't want to move over. You don't want to shoot the next shot on this side of the line. You want to keep everything on this side of the line, okay? Super, super important. So if it was me, I would start to move the camera. We'll see how this works with this monitor. But I would start to move the camera over here. Now this is a little funky because we have a screen behind us. Pull him and look at him. Great. And then we'll set up the shot. Yes, this is called an over-the-shoulder, dirty one-shot, right? So we might be here. Bump this down a little bit more, make it a little bit more cinematic. Okay, cool. Great. Now, I know this is kind of funky because we have all the gear in front of the screen, right? However, use your imagination. You can see that this is the next shot, right? So look at each other. Great. So you could shoot it all from this side then. And this would be the next shot in the scene, right? We'd shoot it here. So let's do it, okay? What I want you to do, you come in and mark it really quick. So my actors, you can exit, okay? You're going to still hit your marks. We're going to leave that just there like that. Come in and mark it. But what do we change on this slate? What's the next thing we change? Scene 1 what? 1B, right? Because that's the next shot. So scene 1B And back to take what? 1. Right, exactly. Okay, cool. So you're going to call it out. Scene 1B, take 1, and mark. Ready? Go for it. Mark it.
Scene 1B, take 1.
Great. And action. See, we might not even need this coverage, by the way, right? Because he's not in focus. It's not really about him. Come on in. So see, that's not going to work, right? The whole purpose of this shot is going to get to the point where she pulls him back and says, hey, what's going on with you? So let's start the scene. Let's start from the beginning right here, but get to the point of pulling him back, okay? Ready, and action. Now, the framing is a little off, right? I think, now, if we're static and we're on sticks like this, can't do much. You need to rely on the actor being able to know kind of where their shoulder is, and we'd say, fellow, you need to be here, dude, just like that, right? However, there's other ways of shooting film. So what I want you to observe something really quickly is what happens to you as the audience, how you feel if I take this camera off of these sticks, okay? You're going to feel a little bit differently, okay? This is called handheld. So I'm going to go handheld with the shot and just track and follow. Ready? Bear with me. Do a little Blair Witchy here for a second. Okay, sorry. Okay. So we'll go from here. Great. You can already feel that difference a little bit. And what I'm going to ask you actors to do, be very, very careful. I'm going to ask you to move over here. Okay? Move the whole scene over here, but don't trip on this cord. Okay? Move. Perfect. Great. There's a cable. Keep stepping over here just a little bit. I'm going to just do this for my audience to be able to see you. Okay? So we'll shoot it right here. So we can cheat that scene a little bit. This is the magic of filmmaking, right? Because we can't tell that they're not standing in the same exact place, right? Because we're so close on her, right? So I want you to go from that, both looking in the mirror, and when I call action, you're going to go directly into kind of looking at each other, okay? Careful here. Okay. This is why you have PAs on a film set. And action.
What's wrong with you? You don't look fine. Are you sure nothing happened today? Okay, we can just get dinner then.
And exit. Careful. Step over the cable. Great. And cut. Nice. That will be your next shot, right? Now, we'll do one final shot. Where should the camera move next? The right side, right? So actors, come on over here again. Step over. And you would move to this side, right? Over this shoulder. We can pick this up, yeah? You want to mark it? You can stand right over there. Great. See, I got you. Now I got you. Ready? Mark it. This would be scene what? One what? Yeah, exactly. Ready? Mark it. Go for it.
Scene 1C, take 1.
You got it, man. Okay. And we would come right in here. And give me a second. I'm going to bump you up just a little bit. Okay, ready? And action.
You don't look fine. Are you sure? Okay, we can just eat now. Maybe you'll be happier.
And cut. Great work, my actors. Fantastic job. Give me a 5. Give me a 5. Great. And most importantly, my AD. Wonderful. So that's like a seriously brief introduction to some on-camera work. Let me just get this set up here. Yes. Okay. So that's a really brief introduction to on-camera acting, to shooting a scene. little bit of an anatomy of a scene, right? How you shoot it. And I think it really speaks to kind of the stamina that an actor needs when they're acting on camera. It's a very different experience acting on camera than it is a play, right? With a play, you might rehearse, again, for 2 months. You're with all your friends, you're rehearsing, and then you put it up, you do it, it exists, beautiful. But with a film, it's very different. The energy you have to have as an actor is very different, right? You're going to be waiting a lot because there's other artisans and artists that are doing their job on the set too. It's not just about the actor. There's there's the director, there's the cinematographer. And it's broken into different units. You have your director's unit, your producer's unit, your camera unit, and then there's a bunch of other units. And they're all kind of working together to create one thing. So the actor has to be on standby and wait. And then you'll shoot a bunch of shots. You might take a whole day to shoot one scene, just depending on how long it is. The producer might be mad about that, though. So anyways, that's a brief introduction to acting on camera. In terms of this evening, I don't know when we're getting to the Q&A section portion, but I wanted to give a little bit of time for a Q&A. Yeah, I think there's a lot of questions you might have about acting on camera, about acting in general, also about performing arts in the United States, about AMDA. So I think we're going to open it up to the Q&A now, if that's cool.
Yep. All right.
Great.
Thank you, Blake.
Thank
Give
you.
him a round
Thank
of
you. Thank you.
applause. Okay.
Thank you.
So we're gonna do the Q&A. Junnan, you can sit here, and then Blake can sit there.
Perfect.
All right. Cool. So did you guys enjoy that? Did you learn a thing or two about acting? Yeah. Okay. All right. Yes, just like the movie. I think that's the idea. All right. So we have water here for you, Junnan and Blake. So if you want to drink,
I come
feel free.
hydrated. I come with my water. Oh, I like that. Let me change. I like this one
All
better.
right, cool. So we're gonna open the Q&A for our audience here first, and then we're gonna take questions from our audience online. Anyone here want to ask a question? Okay, we'll go to you, and then you right after. All right. Can we have a microphone? So wait until we give you the microphone. You can introduce yourself and then ask your question. So did you have fun?
I had a blast. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. I love the opportunity to teach on camera because I think there's a lot of access to theater education. It's kind of ubiquitous throughout the world, and that's kind of where I started is in the theater as a kid, you know. And I think that is a very natural thing for a lot of humans to start doing plays and stuff like that. I don't think it's very natural to have access to being on camera at a young age, and so it took me a long time to actually figure out what it's like to act on camera. It was a shocking difference between being on stage and being on screen and learning those differences. So I always love the opportunity to meet a new group of people who hasn't had that experience yet or is just kind of interested in it and to show them kind of the difference. And what I would encourage you all to do, by the way, this evening or tomorrow, the next time you watch something, really look at it from an analytical lens. Like, how many shots did it take to do that one scene, you know? What are the shot sizes? Start looking at things from that lens is what I would really encourage you to do, especially as actors.
Right. So before we go to you, so I have a follow-up question on that.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you started with theater and then you kind of pivot to camera, right? I guess in your opinion, if someone say want to pivot, the style, would it be easier for someone to go from stage to camera or the other way around?
That's a really good question. I think it's subjective, but I'll give you my subjective opinion on this. I think the best acting comes from theater-trained actors.
I see.
That's just my opinion. I think acting on camera is very challenging. It's got its own set of challenges, right? It to kind of scale things down a little bit and to just trust your instincts a little bit more. But there's nothing quite like having to be live in front of an audience. It really heightens the senses, and there are no guardrails. There is no cut, right? You have to get through that play. So what it does is it really develops intense discipline for the craft. And theater actors show up, in my opinion, very prepared. They are memorized for sure for the scene. because you can't not be memorized in theater. So again, it's subjective. Where I think theater actors really struggle is bringing it down. And that's where at least I struggled a lot, because I was like, I'm a very big performer, you know, a very big theatrical performer. And then to kind of scale it down and realize you're enough, all you need to do is breathe and exist truthfully within the circumstances, is hard for some theater actors to do. So that pivot can be a little bit of a challenge. But I think it's a lot easier to go from like a big energy and scale that down to having no energy and trying to scale that up. I actually saw a podcast recently. I think it was Matthew McConaughey speaking about this, and he was talking about the first take that he always does is the biggest take, because he knows he can scale down from there, right? Versus like starting small and then building up. So I think the same kind of thing pertains to this idea of like theater training versus on-camera training. I think an actor can really learn to scale it down and trust their instincts more than scale up. So that's my subjective opinion on that.
All right, thank you. All right, so let's go to your question.
Hi, Blake.
Hi.
It's
Hi, my
Greg.
AD.
My name is Greg. My question would be, in your own opinion, when it comes to a movie project, when it comes to a movie production, whether it's commercial or indie, when it comes to a golden triangle between the producer, writer, and the director, who is the final decision of something important? Maybe, the producer has the authorities to do everything, whether the director has the artistic vision of the film, and the producer has always the money flows. So, in your opinion, once again, who is the final decision maker of a production movie?
It's a really good question. Thank you for the question. It's a complicated question, and there is not one singular answer to that question. It really depends on the production, right? It depends on the relationship between the producer and the director. Maybe the director has an executive producer credit on the film as well, or whatever it is that they're making. So it ultimately comes down to kind of the agreement going into the pre-production phase of that, and who is going to have say over what and determine what outcomes, right? But I wouldn't say it's kind of one size fits all. It depends. A director sometimes is really, really, really going to have to fight for their final cut, you know? And sometimes a producer is going to butt heads with them and say, no, like this is what the studio wants, or this is what the distribution wants, right? And sometimes they win out. And I think as a director, you really have to look at yourself and say, what am I willing to sacrifice and what am I not willing to sacrifice from an artistic perspective? And then as more from the director's standpoint, I think you have to learn how to take a note. And so when you're in the note-taking process of creating something, I think you have to really learn about what is subjective and what is objective. If you get a bunch of notes back from a bunch of producers, and there's not just one producer, there's probably a bunch of different producers, they're going to do a screening probably in front of the PGA, and they're going to sit there and say, here's a bunch of notes, take it or leave it. But if you see the same note happening over and over and over again, to me that's an objective note. That means you should take it. If you see one note here and one note there and they're different, that's probably a little bit subjective, and you as the director have to say, I'm either willing to take that or I'm not willing to take that, right? But at the end of the day, it's not one size fits all. It depends on the producing team, it depends on the directing team, it depends on the overall creative vision, and where the money is coming from too is very important as well. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Blake. All right, so let's go to the next question. I think that was you, right? The one with the vest. Yes, the lady. No. The lady showed her hand first.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Shauna. I actually have two questions, if that's okay.
That's
Please.
okay.
So the first one is, I'm kind of curious of the film industry in America, because everyone says it's very tough. Just want to know how it is now, I guess.
The film industry?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, especially for an actor. And the second one is maybe if you have like audition tips, because you did mention like even to get into schools, you have to do like a lot of monologues. Like if you have tips for that to wow the casting directors. Thank you.
Good questions, heavy questions. The film industry, particularly as it pertains to acting in the United States right now, I think there's honestly never been more opportunity for actors. There's more film and TV productions being shot than ever in the history of humankind. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there. The question is the quality, is the quality there? But I think as an actor, if you're starting out in this industry, I think you have to really be able to kind of do it all. You have to be able to go out for a commercial, go out for an industrial, go out for a feature-length film or a TV show or a short film, something that's done online. But there's a lot of opportunity out there for sure. In terms of its fragmentation at a bigger level of like where things are shooting, New York or LA, like that's shifted a little bit, but I don't think you as an actor need to necessarily be focused on that. A lot of things are still being shot in New York and LA, but I think it's also beneficial that they're shot all over the world now. Film has really seen no boundaries at this point. It's shot everywhere, all over the world. So even here in Indonesia and Jakarta, there's plenty of opportunities, I'm sure, to do some on-camera work. So a lot of stuff you'll hear in the news, but I wouldn't be disheartened about anything in the media industry and the film industry. There's more work than ever before for actors. Yeah.
I want to add one more
Yep.
thing in addition to that. From more, I'm not sure if you are from Indonesia. So as an international performer and the person who work in this industry, I think the most biggest obstacle is like you have to fit in your authorized work in the United States, because that stops a lot of international students and professional performer. They need to be, for example, on Broadway. A lot of the show they are the union show. You have to be their union member in order to audition for that particular show. Also apply to the film industry, and that's why a lot of the school, including EMDA, we don't advise that immigration stuff like that. But we'll give the students a lot of the insights about how to become like a working professional in the United States under the different visa program. Let's say, like for example, that's why a lot of the O1 artists, they take the chance to be graduated and get the O1 either with agency sponsor or without agency sponsor, and then you can go to a different, the audition and start to knock the door. I think that's a challenge a lot of international performer are facing, but they are kind of like, okay, I'm still gonna do that to build their credits.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
That's a good point. So
And then the other, I think you had one more question, right?
One more.
In terms of, can you expand upon the question just a little bit more? What is it about auditioning specifically? Just tips in general?
I guess so. And I guess it's also like, because now there's a lot of like virtual audition as well. I guess the difference between like what tips you have for offline audition and like virtual audition to get the part, basically.
I mean, I think auditions in general, whether you're doing it virtually or whether you're doing it in person, really requires preparation, right? So like going back to the beginning of the workshop, those 3 exercises, like that discipline to do exercises like that, to really get yourself in a nice physical and mental space before you approach the material, that's vital first and foremost, whether you're doing it on a virtual audition or you're doing it on in person. And then understanding the types of audition and how to approach them, right? So if you're auditioning for a college, which is what we're hosting here tomorrow night and I'll be adjudicating, what I'm looking for is a couple of technical things to start, right? So if you're an actor and you're coming in with a monologue, you have to have your monologues memorized, 2 contrasting contemporary monologues, at least for us. Other colleges might ask for something a little bit different, maybe a classical piece and a contemporary piece, but definitely memorized. And then what I'm really looking for is, in your monologue, are you connecting to another person, right? Who are you speaking to? What's your objective? What's your relationship? That's kind of the foundation, and then we build from there. That's very different than an audition that requires a script, right? That you might get a script sent to you beforehand. Do your best to memorize it as much as possible. If you need a reader, find somebody that can read with you if you have to do a virtual audition. But the most important thing I think for auditions is how you walk into the room or how you present yourself on camera. Are you relaxed, concentrated, and present, and are you bringing that energy into the audition? That's really, really vital. But we could have, we could have a 5-hour masterclass on audition techniques just alone, because there's all different types of auditions. The best advice I can give you is be prepared and be present, right?
All
Yeah.
right, thank you. So now I have a question
Yeah.
following up on audition. All right, so from Junnan's point of view, so what do you think is the main difference, or what do you usually look for in prospective students when they're auditioning?
From our perspective.
Yeah, from the faculty's perspective, I guess.
Of course, I think the faculty member, they are looking for the talents. That's
Mm-hmm.
really the foundation. But at the end, I can say is we are looking for number one is potential. So, a lot of the school, they are looking for perfection. There is literally no perfection in this industry. What we want to see is potential, whether the students have that potential to be work with. And number two is the students are okay to take direction. So this industry, every single day you are on the set, in the theater,
Right,
you are taking the direction from your director or different persona. So we want to give a lot of direction. That's why EMDA's audition is really distinguished from others, because other school maybe just coming to, like I said, sing a song, like 10 seconds, 2 minutes, and then you leave. Don't speak a word to a faculty member. But us is more like a mini workshop. We'll work with the students, give a lot of direction to them to say, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? Our goal is to see whether the students can take the direction well or not. And number three, of course, is passion. We want to see the students doing the things they love to do. Audition literally is your daily job, your daily work after your graduation. From the day one you want to become a performer, you constantly audition every single day. So passion is the key.
Yeah. So it shows, right? When someone walks into the room and they really show their passion, or someone's like, maybe I want to do this, maybe I don't.
Yeah.
Right? It really shows.
We would
Really
choose
different.
someone that has more passion over someone that's perfectly polished any day, because they're going to be the best
Alright.
student. Really,
Right.
they're going to show up prepared every morning, ready to go, ready to work, and ultimately that passion equates to talent in the long run, and they just get better and better as they hone their skills and craft. We don't want essentially people coming in with this giant ego, thinking they're better than anything, and
Right.
we can't kind of deconstruct any bad habits that they have and rebuild them back up because they already think they're the best, right? We would rather work with somebody that's humble
Yep.
and that's coming in with passion, that wants to learn.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to work with a lot of people, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, and that goes to casting in the professional world. They're also looking at likability. Like, are you going to be okay to show up on set and be nice to be around? And casting directors, it's a small industry, so you'll start to get a reputation. And if you have a reputation of being hard to work with, they're like, well, why would we work with this person? We'll work with the person that's maybe slightly less quote unquote talented, but is easier to work with, and shows up on set and makes their day better,
Right,
That's
right.
super important.
All right. So before we go back to the questions from the
Yeah.
audience, I have a fun question. So for both of you, right? Who do you think is the best actors, or who do you like most?
The best actors. That's a giant question. First of all, I always firmly believe that I don't have favorites in life, so I don't have a list of favorites. But geez, I mean, Meryl Streep is just
Oh,
right
okay,
up there.
yeah,
You gotta
yeah,
say.
yeah.
Philip Seymour Hoffman, may he rest in peace. Just a masterful actor. God, there's too many to choose from these days, But I would
Right.
put those two up there as probably kind of the best masters of our time. And if you go back historically, we have to all give credit to Marlon Brando for what he
Right,
did
yeah.
in terms of really bringing our idea of the method, not method acting, but the method or the technique of Stanislavski to the screen. Because before then it was a very different style of acting on camera, and then we see kind of this breakthrough of kind of realism, naturalism really existing within not performative or not acting. So got to give our credit to kind of some of those old school actors, Marlon Brando, James Dean, that.
Right,
That's my kind of jam for sure.
All right. I mean, they're very famous for a reason, right?
For a reason, for sure, yeah.
Okay, all right.
But there's just so many actors now that are just leveling up. It's kind of wild, yeah.
All right, Junnan, what do you think?
Well, my background, I rooted in China, so I grew up with Chinese culture. So I would say in American film and television, I think I like Leonardo
DiCaprio, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a
Yeah.
really good actor.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, I also like Emma Stone the most recently, La La
She's-
Land. I think
Mhm.
I like
Oh, right,
her
right.
really good, so I would just mention the two. But I have a lot of Chinese, my favorite actor, actress.
But they're actually pretty famous here too, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know
Chinese
that.
movie
But we,
industry and
in China, we
actors, yeah.
do have a pop star. I think it's Asa. It's a Indonesian woman. He actually made it to the Voice of China.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a lot of connection. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So let's go back to the questions. Let's take one from this side first. We'll go here and there, back and forth. All right. The pink blouse jacket. From this side first. Nggak yang perempuan pakai baju jacket. Yeah.
Hello, good evening. My name is Prissy. I'm from South Jakarta, and I'm mainly in theater. I'd like to ask if you do a self-tape, if your format is monologue, are you talking straight to the camera or are
Ooh.
you pointing to one place, so
I
not
love-
directly to camera?
I love this question. This is a very, very, very important question. So, focal point. It all goes back to focal point, right? Which we discussed in the workshop a little bit. But if you are doing a monologue and let's say it's a self-tape, where your focal point, remember at the beginning when I was showing focal point as it's related directly to the lens, right? You don't want to look directly into the lens. Why? Because that means you're looking like directly at your adjudicator or your casting director, and that's distracting to them, right? It's the same thing as if you're live in person, and I'm going to do a bunch of auditions tomorrow. And when somebody's auditioning in front of me, I do not want them looking at me. First of all, it makes me feel weird and uncomfortable. I'm not your other person in the scene. I'm looking at you. So you're breaking the fourth wall by looking at me. Don't do that, right? And so if you're doing it for a virtual audition or you're self-taping, rather, you want to put your focal point right above the lens, right? If the person in the scene is across from you, right above the lens, maybe slightly to the right or to the left. Definitely don't turn your head to the side because we can't see both eyes. So focal point, very, very important, right above the lens. Don't look into the lens, though. Unless, for some reason, this casting is like, gives you instructions, look into the lens as if you're speaking to me, but that's really not going to be the case for a monologue. Does that make sense?
Yes, and well, one more thing. If you do a dialogue type of
Mhm.
self-tape,
Yeah.
is it better to look beyond the camera,
Yep.
you said, or just like beside you, or one?
I would put
other
your
focal-
reader, the person reading the other part of the dialogue, which you're going to need, right next to the camera, right? So that your focal point, remember the empathy we have for characters, the closer the eye line is, the more empathy you have, or the more we're engaged in watching you. So put your other person that's reading with you, if the camera's right here, like over my shoulder, put them right here, right? And then the camera's here looking at you. Does that make sense?
So it's better to have someone recite the other dialogue.
If you have that as a resource, yeah, I mean, really, how else are you going to do it? But I would recommend getting a good friend, and they could come over and read the other lines with you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
You're
Thank you for
welcome.
the question. Okay,
That's a
so
good
I have
question.
I have a question for both of you.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about study in the U.S., right? Why
Yes.
do you think, I guess, students have to study acting in the U.S.? What makes the U.S. different compared to other countries
In terms of acting,
in terms of acting?
I'll let you start, and then I'll.
I will, yeah. I mean, I want to talk more about it from in general international students. You know, when we're talking about the performing arts acting, so that's how the Hollywood big movie industry come to our man. At least I was influenced. Well, when I decided to apply for the States, I was really watch the Gossip Girl, blah blah blah. That's kind of how I said, okay, I want to live in Manhattan. I'm just like
Yeah.
find a job, especially for my PR and advertising part. I watched the Mad Men, right? Talk all about the advertising. I think the
Right.
industry that's
Yep.
probably the most appealing part for that, and also university. The program setting acting, let's say BFA in acting in the United States is a professional studio-based program. Compared to if you go to university in UK or Australia, I don't think they have the BFA setting. They all have a BA, which is a Bachelor of
I
the
see.
Arts. And sometimes especially in UK, they are 3 years for the undergrad.
Right.
In the United States, it's 4 years.
Yeah.
The length of the study is different, and also BFA, like I said, it's a professional, studio-based, practical, and the extension to the graduate program will be the MFA, which is a terminal. Compared to other countries, just MA. They keep doing BA, MA. So our program is so different degree setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my take.
No, I think that's a really, really valid and good take. I think, from my perspective, I think you have to think about it as an industry, first of all, like separate it from the education, but just think about the industry. In the United States, the largest export is entertainment, right? It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. It impacts the entire world. Whether you like it or not, it does. And now it's started to spread a bit more, and we have big centers all over the world starting to shoot and make their own content, which is great. But the epicenter of entertainment has historically come from the United States, Hollywood and Broadway, right? You have the West End in London, which is fantastic as well for kind of live performance, and there's other areas around the world. But it's steeped and rooted in deep history of storytelling, right? So there's, in the United States, essentially kind of second and even now third generation teachers coming from Stanislavski, right? So if you look at the technique of acting that came over essentially from Russia, from Stanislavski, right? And then it fragmented into all these different methods, Adler, Meisner, Strasberg, Grotowski, Linklater, you know, all of this fragmentation of these methods. This started in New York City with the group theater, right? And then it did make its way out to LA and Hollywood. But the technique, the craft, the training for it started in New York City in like the 1930s with group theater. So you have to think about the history, and then now you have these generational teachers that are teaching that same methodology, and it's not as watered down as it might potentially be in other areas of the world. Not saying that it hasn't made its way there, but you're still getting like almost the true purest form of training in these cities. So again, a bit of a subjective take, but I think you are getting some of the best training in the world in places like New York and LA, where it's the epicenter of this entertainment industry, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. All right.
Yeah.
So we'll take one quick question from that side. The one with the glasses. Yang cewek di depan pakai baju coklat. Yeah. Yeah, you.
Okay. Speaking about training previously, right? I would like to ask about, since you guys also teaching acting, right?
Oh yeah.
You guys teach acting, and I would like to know what is your approach to new actors, because there are some controversial opinion here, like is it okay to tell actors what to do very explicitly in detail when they do acting? I mean, in their for their acting, or some actually argue that, oh, we should let them explore things like that. But we're talking about new actors. What would be your approach, right? Because I think imitation-based learning is also okay for beginners, and that would be the first question.
We have time for one question.
Oh, only one question.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay, that would be my question.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
That's a complicated question. I'm trying to kind of gather where you're coming at it from, but like if a beginning actor, the best advice I can give them is go into a class, right? Don't necessarily learn through imitation. Learn from doing. You got to get into a class, and like if the only resource you have is a scene study class, get into class and start deconstructing a scene and doing it, right? I personally believe that the worst type of direction you can give an actor is to tell them exactly how to do it. A director, that's called line reading, right? So like a director should never tell or show you exactly how to do it. Now, for beginning actors, yes, that might help you, but it's kind of like cheat code, you know, like just giving them this imitation to do versus actually them as an actor really exploring the technique and figuring out authentically who they are within the given circumstances, right? So it's more complicated than that. But my advice is get into class. If you're a beginner actor, you have to start training. This is not an industry, and it's not a craft that is easy. It takes repetition. It takes messing up. It takes failing to learn how to do it really, really well, right? So if you're on a film set and you're a beginner actor, I don't know why you're there to begin with, first of all. You really shouldn't be there. But if you got cast for some reason and you really don't know what you're doing, yeah, hopefully a director will help kind of guide you through that on the day. But really, you should get into class. Super, super, super important. That's the best advice I can give. I don't know if you have any advice.
No, I'm not an actor.
All right, okay. So thank you for the question. So I guess, last one. What are your advices for students who want to study performing arts?
Well, again, from my international students' perspective, dream bigger. Yeah, dream bigger. You know, do what you love to do every single day. That's all matters. And you will finally figure it out. But you have to start to do the planning, thinking, and explore since today. If this is your journey, I really encourage you guys to be brave enough to explore all the resources we have here. Mm-hmm. And maybe one day check out our EMDA's website if you find out the program will be better for you.
Yeah, I think my advice, if you want to study performing arts, I think you really have to manifest that in yourself, and manifestation comes through actually creating some actions for yourself. So set goals and intentions for yourself. If you want to study performing arts, go home tonight and write down and be disciplined. Write down your goals. Write down your goals starting backwards from 10-year goals, 5-year goals, 1-year goals, and then break it down into months and start actually putting it into an action plan. And part of that, in terms of studying performing arts, find the right school for you, right? Which is AMDA, by the way. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, set some goals and some intentions for yourself. Start there.
All right, thank you so much, Blake. Thank you so much, Junnan, for
Thank
your
you,
time.
everyone.
We had a really, a great time with you guys. So we hope you come back next time.
We would love to.
Do.
We would love to. Thank you,
to New
everyone.
York.
All right, thank you. So let's give the stage back to Ara.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Kak Caroline. Can we have another round of applause for our speakers?
Thank you.
And
Thank
moderator,
you.
yes, thank you so much. It was a wonderful session. And ladies and gentlemen, earlier in this event, we had a social media quiz for our online audiences. And the question was, is it true or false on-camera acting and stage acting are two different things? And the correct answer to that is true. On-camera acting includes shooting scenes for screen-based media, like movies and TV shows. Meanwhile, stage acting is a performing art in which an actor performs live in a theater. Shout out goes out to @Restalia from Instagram for answering the question correctly. And now we would like to inform everyone here, if you already have the QR code to this event, don't forget to ask for a scan for your membership tier so you can get an exclusive merchandises from @America. Jadi buat teman-teman yang sudah mendapatkan QR code dari event malam ini, jangan lupa untuk meminta scan QR untuk membership tier agar teman-teman bisa mendapatkan exclusive merchandise dari @America. Once again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining our event today. And if you're interested in attending more events here in @America, don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms @ATAmerica and also visit our website at www.atamerica.or.id. Once again, thank you so much, everyone. My name is Ara, and see you at the next @America event. Thank you, everyone.